It's never been easier to make money. So why is it that in the wealthiest country on the planet, more opportunity than anywhere else in the world, more freedoms than anywhere else in the world, why is it that 8 out of 10 Americans are paycheck to paycheck? Why is that? Why is it that 60% of Americans have less than $1,000 saved? Hey, what is happening? Jerry Fetta here, owner, founder, CEO of Wealth Dynamics. Coming to you this Friday with another Finance Friday. Hope you're doing phenomenal. Hope you guys had a good week. If you're watching, tuning in this evening, I appreciate it. If you've never seen my content before, I want to just speak to you for a moment. So my name is Jerry Fetta. I'm the owner and founder and CEO of Wealth Dynamics. And my mission, my purpose in life is to help good people that have good intentions, build more wealth and make the world a better place, right? And, I spent over the almost 15 years of my life now, learning about finances, learning about wealth, building wealth. I'm 32 years old now. In a month, I guess I'm 32 years old. I'm already financially independent, meaning I don't have to trade time for money because of the passive income I receive from my investments in my business. So I'm somebody that studies this stuff. I walk the walk, I talk the talk, right? And so I teach these courses every Friday to share with you what I learned, right? Because I didn't start out this way. I didn't start out with, a hand up, a head start or anything like that. I started out low income, right? My mom and dad, when I was 9 years old, all in the same summer, lost the house, lost the car. Mom and dad got divorced. We were homeless on both sides of the family. I was a C average student. I grew up in Alaska, right? So there's no reason why I should be able to be, teaching the things that I'm teaching. There's no reason why I should have achieved the things I've achieved when it's come to wealth and finances, right? And I recognize that. And a big reason why I've been able to do what I've been able to do is because when I was 18 or 19 years old, someone sat down with me and they were willing to teach me about money, right? And I went my entire life up to that point not knowing how money worked. Just complete mystery. Right, not understanding it, watching it tear my family apart. Who's had these experiences? If you've seen or experienced this, I want you to comment, right? You've just had negative experiences with money. And so I grew up as an adult and I was like, why would I even want money? Why would I want anything to do with it? When I was 17 years old, I quit on money. I made the decision. I was like, I'm not going to trade my time for this stuff, right? I'm not going to spend my life pursuing it. I'm going to do just whatever I want to do and I'm not going to focus on money. Now, a part of that mindset was right, okay? A bigger part of that mindset was wrong. Within 2 years, I was homeless again, right? And I want to share with you tonight on this Finance Friday, the number one reason I've seen that people don't build wealth. Look what just arrived. I just got my copy of the Blueprint to Financial Freedom. Hey, enjoy the rest of the content. I don't want to interrupt you too long, but if you go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo or click the link in the description, you can get your copy now. Right? And we can look at the statistics here. I want to start with that, right? Because we live in a country where we earn more income than anyone else in the world. Right? We have more prosperity in the United States than anywhere else in the world. We have more opportunity than anywhere else in the world. Right? I was telling my son, I was like, hey, dude, you live somewhere right now where you have more opportunity than any other place on the planet. Is it perfect? Nope. Can you make more money here and live a better life here than anywhere else on the planet? Definitely. Right? We still have that, and we've had that for quite some time. Okay? And it's not that it's easy, because it's not. But here's the deal. If you have an iPhone, you can learn anything you want to at any moment in time, as much as you want to learn, and apply it and succeed. There's not this barrier of information anymore. If you have a smartphone, you can connect with anybody you want to connect with. You can build a following. You can build a brand, right? You literally can do Uber. I had a guy today come clean my place on TaskRabbit. He made several $100s to clean my place, right, from his phone. Like, I flagged him down on TaskRabbit. Boom, he's here, he's cleaning, he's making money. It's never been easier to make money. So why is it that in the wealthiest country on the planet, more opportunity than anywhere else in the world, more freedoms than anywhere else in the world, why is it that 8 out of 10 Americans are paycheck to paycheck? Why is that? Why is it that 60% of Americans have less than $1,000 saved? Right? That means for you watching, out of 10 of you, there's 6 of you that right now you've got a less than $1,000 in your bank account. And I remember those days. I remember when I thought $1,000 was a lot of money. And I was like, man, I hope I have that much money. I've been there. Right? So I totally get that. But it's not an okay place to be. You would agree with me. It's not safe. It's not something that's good for your finances, is it? Right? Here's the real stats. Only 5% of Americans will be financially secure by age 65. Okay, 2 big problems I see with this number, right? 5%. So that means there's a 95% failure rate when it comes to personal finances in the greatest country on the planet. 95% failure rate. Okay, so our banks have failed us. Our financial advisors have failed us. Wall Street has failed us. Right? A 95% failure rate. I want you to think about, like, if you went to a college and you found out only 5% of the people graduated, you wouldn't feel comfortable going there. You would be like, there's no way. Right? I want to add to the list, by the way, our college system has failed us. These institutions we've been relying on, they don't do what we've been told they do, and the statistics are very evident. Now, here's the other problem with this number, right? Age 65, right? So the statistic was only 5% of Americans. And this is not Jerry's statistic, right? This is from the Social Security Administration, who also failed you, right? The Social Security Administration is saying only 5% of Americans will be financially secure by age 65, okay? But age 65, think about this. Do you really want to wait for age 65 to finally feel like you can let your hair down and breathe? Okay, I've been there, and to this day, guys, I grew up poor. To this day, having been raised poor is the greatest financial motivator that I have. I don't want to go back. I constantly have this, this paranoia of, am I going to be, suddenly back delivering pizza again? Right? It fuels me, but it's not a normal thing. It's not a normal condition. Gandhi is quoted with saying, poverty is the worst form of violence. Right? And that's true. Violence, it's coercion. We have financial means and we have financial haves and have-nots. The have-nots end up doing things that they wouldn't usually do. They sacrifice their personal values and integrity because they lack the resources. They lack money. So I've been there, guys. I've been there where I've eaten food I knew was probably going to give me cancer or diabetes. Right? I have skipped medical treatment because I knew I couldn't afford it. Right? I have, drank, I don't even think it's juice, Tang, and Sunny Delight, shit like that when I was little, where it's like, that's chemicals. I don't even know what that was. Right? I've been there. I've done that. I've eaten Totino's pizza and been like, this is literally diabetes on a toaster oven. Right? High sodium, God knows what. That's not real cheese. Okay? All of that, I've experienced those things. Now, what does this have to do with why most people aren't wealthy? Because right now I'm sharing with you that most people aren't. It's the reality. We would agree with it. You're agreeing with me on this point. I don't know if you're going to agree with me on the next point, but guys, I've been doing this. I've been doing this almost 15 years now. One-on-one, helping families, helping individuals improve their financial condition. I've been doing this since I was 18 years old. Right? And here's the number one reason. The number one reason I see. Okay? And it has to do with the origin of the word wealth. Right? The word wealth, when you bring it down to its origin, one of its origin points is the word well. Right? Well. Okay? Now, I want you to have that here. There's another word that traces down to the same origin. It's the word willing. Right? Willing traces down to well. Wealth traces down to well. So there's a connection between wealth and willingness. Right? I think, and this is not the root reason, one of the symptoms of the root reason I'm going to share with you in a minute here, one of the symptoms is I think the average person is not willing to build wealth. I think they're not willing to build wealth. I think they're not willing to do what it takes to build wealth. And what it takes is not crazy. You don't need to sell your soul to the devil. You don't need to, betray all your friendships and become this greedy little miser. None of that. But you do need to be willing to work and produce more than you consume. Okay, let's talk about this paycheck to paycheck thing. I'm going to get into the rest of the definition here. What does a paycheck come from? Really think about that. What does your paycheck come from? It's not from your job. It's from an exchange, right? So I exchange value with a boss or a company or, a client or whatever. I do something valuable for them. I exchange with them, and then they exchange back with me dollars. Okay? Well, I produce, I get dollars. I exchange, I get dollars. Now, when I then spend, that's an exchange of consumption. I take my dollars and I give them in exchange to have things, right? So what does it mean when I say I'm paycheck to paycheck? It means that I consume basically the same amount that I produce, right? It's like if I was talking about diet and exercise, I consume just about as many calories as I burn, okay? Am I going to gain muscle or lose body fat at that level? No, I'm going to maintain the status quo. I'm not going to make any progress at that rate with physical fitness if I consume the same amount of calories as I burn, right? So let's take this back to finances. If I produce the same amount of income that I consume, and 80% of people do, I'm not going to make financial progress. So what do I need to be willing to do? Again, this word willing comes into play. What do I need to be willing to do? I need to be willing to either consume less than I produce or produce more than I can consume. Right? Now, most people, and this was me, when I got into finances, I was like, okay, well, the easy one is I just consume less, right? So I'm like, I'll eat less, I won't go out as much, I'll cut back on the mochas and the lattes, and I'll buy the cheap gas, I'll buy unleaded instead of premium, I'll change my own oil, I'll mow my front yard, I'll clean my own house, and I'll never eat out, right? Dates with the wife, done, off the table. We're not doing them anymore because I need to consume less than I produce, okay? And I did okay. I was able to save some money. This is most middle-class Americans that are doing okay with their finances, right? They just lower their consumption. I'm going to consume less. I'm going to buy cheaper groceries. I'm going to, just tighten things in and economize, right? However, you can't economize your way to wealth. Okay, you can economize your way to homelessness, right? But nobody ever got wealthy because they're like, dude, how did, think about this. You're sitting with Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or any one of these guys. Okay, I want you to picture this interview. You're sitting with them and you've got the opportunity to ask them, what's your secret? Right? How did you do it? How did you build wealth? Right? And old Warren's like 90 years old. He leans forward in his diaper, right? And he leans in real close and he whispers, he says, all right, I'm going to tell you my secret. The way that I became a billionaire was, do you know how most people pay $7 a pound for hamburger meat? I pay $3. Right? It makes no sense. This would never be a conversation that Warren Buffett would have with you. What would Warren Buffett tell you? He would tell you, I figured out how to become a better communicator. This is actually things Warren Buffett has said. He said, I took a course on communication. I became a better communicator. I studied, communication, and I became a communicator. I was then able to do business with people and earn more income by exchanging more value with them. I then studied investing, and I became an excellent investor. Right? None of these are economizing actions. These are expansion actions. So when you're paycheck to paycheck, the solution, increase your paycheck. Don't decrease your grocery bill. Don't try and save money on gas. Don't think that not going to Starbucks is going to help you. Just increase your means, right? Here's the thing, because I've done both now. I've done the live below your means, penny pinch, beans and rice, ramen noodles, all the stuff I mentioned. Okay, that lifestyle is not fun. It's not, right? I like traveling with my family. I like going on dates with my wife. I like having things I enjoy. And I like saving lots of money. I save 40% of my income. I don't do that by buying the cheaper box of cereal, I don't do that by cutting coupons, right? I do that by increasing my income, right? And so most people aren't willing to do that, right? And you keep hearing me say most people don't build wealth because they're not willing to, and it's the flat out truth. But here's the deal. How many times have you said personally, I don't need all that? Have you ever said that? I don't need all that. Or money can't buy happiness, right? Or money changes people. Or money doesn't grow on trees. Like who here has said those things? If you're saying those things, that is a verbalization of your unwillingness to build wealth, right? Whoever said building wealth was about what you need? That's the most selfish thing in the world. I'm not going to build wealth because I don't need it. What about the people that do? What about all the money you could be donating to help? What about all of the just causes you could be funding and changing the planet with? Andrew Carnegie did exactly that. America's first billionaire, he died penniless because he gave all of his money away. That's what it's about. And that's why I said at the beginning of this, my mission is to help good people that have good intentions. You're a well-intentioned person. My mission is to help you build wealth so you can make the world a better place. And that starts with improving your quality of life as an individual. And you're not improving your quality of life by buying cheaper groceries. And you're not improving your quality of life by not traveling. You're not improving your quality of life by going on less dates with your wife. You're not improving your quality of life by looking for ways to, clamp things down on the budget. You're actually decreasing your quality of life. Right? That would be the thing that's happening. So if the first thing you're trying to do with wealth is improve your individual quality of life, you can't do that without increasing your means and increasing your income and increasing your investing and increasing. It's not a decrease, it's an increase. Right? Like if you ask my thoughts on budgeting, if you're saving 40% of your income, and I think you all should be, if you're making $100,000 a year, there's zero reason why you can't save 40% of your pre-tax income. You can quote me on that. Okay? And if you're not doing it, it's because, again, the willingness needs to be there. After the willingness is the knowledge. Because here's what happens. When you give knowledge to someone that's not willing, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to rebuttal. They're going to tell you the reasons why they can't, the reasons why it's wrong, the reasons why it doesn't work for them. Right? Why they're special, why they're the exception to the rule, right? Why their story is different. We live on a planet with 8 billion people. Nobody's story is different. I hate to break it to you. Nobody is unique on this planet. It's the same thing. We're all going through the same stuff on a regular basis. So the rules apply. Economics apply the same to everybody. There's not, oh, it's different for me because of this, or this doesn't apply because of that. No, if you want to build wealth and you want to improve your quality of life, you better earn a lot of money. You better save a lot of the money that you earn, and you better invest it in things that don't lose and do make. Right? So, the willingness factor. Okay, now, what does this word willingness come down to? Again, it comes down to the word well. What does the word wealth come down to? Comes down to the word well. Okay, what's at the origin of this word well? To wish. Literally, to make a wish is where that word comes from. The word well means to make a wish. Okay, how many of you are wishing even at this stage? You're wishing to build wealth. And if you're wishing to build wealth, I want to completely validate that, right? Because a lot of people have given up on that wish. The wish to build wealth is the wish to improve your quality of life, to improve the quality of life of your loved ones, and to improve the quality of life for the world around you. There's not a more noble wish than that. If poverty is the worst form of violence, as Gandhi said, then what is wealth? Wealth is the opposite of poverty. To build wealth is to eradicate poverty in all aspects of your life. Not even financial only. You need finances to fund it, of course, but this thing is not just financial, right? You're looking at this and you're saying, okay, I want my relationships doing well. I want my physical health doing well, right? I want my marriage doing well. I want my career doing well. I want my creativity doing well. I want my fun and adventure doing well. I want every aspect, every dynamic of my life doing well. Right? And that's wealth dynamics. And so the number one reason why people don't build wealth, why it's called the top 1% instead of the top 99%, right? I would like to live on that planet where it's not top 1, it's top 99. I want everyone doing well. The more people doing well, the better this planet is going to become, right? The number one reason is you're not wishing for it. You gave up on the dream, or you never had the dream in the first place, or you let someone talk you out of it, right? Because the person who is willing, before they're willing, they had a wish. And we've all heard this cliche phrase, where there's a will, there's a way, but damn, that's true. The willing person will always find a way there. They will persist, they will learn, they will overcome obstacles. I can tell you I can tell you people in my life that have, to build wealth, not just for themselves, but because of what they can do on this planet with it. Right? If you let one little thing get you off, like think about this, to build wealth, to be a millionaire, right? So for me, like my goal is I want to be making $20,000 a month from my real estate portfolio now. Okay? So to do that, I need about 40 homes. 40 homes. That's a lot of repetition, right? Buying 40 different properties. That's going to make me about $20,000 a month in passive income from real estate, right? So that's a lot of persistence. A lot of people don't even buy one home, right? I own real estate that other people pay me for. I rent right now, personally. I don't live in a house that I own, I rent, but I own properties that other people pay me for, right? So again, I'm willing to give that up right now because I understand the long-term benefit. I understand that that's going to pay off for me in the future. Okay, but 40 properties, let's take my example. What would happen if 3 properties in I have a bad experience and then quit? Or my first one, it doesn't go well and I'm like, oh, investing is bad. I'm never doing that again. You don't think on 40 properties, on one of them, I'm going to lose money? Like, just statistically, it's going to happen. I know that. I expect that. So for me to go sour because, oh, I lost money on an investment, or this was more work than I thought, or somebody judged me because of what I'm doing now, like that's a zero persistence. That's wimp status, right? Like where's your muscle? And that muscle comes from the wish. How big is the wish? How strong is the desire? Because that is your purpose. And that purpose, the bigger that purpose is, the bigger barriers it's going to overcome. Okay, the smaller the purpose, the more you're going to let wipe you out. And if your purpose, and let me tell you the most shallow purpose in the world when it comes to building wealth, if your purpose is to retire, just quit, like literally retire, the root of the word retire means retreat. That word disgusts me. If your goal is to retire, that's purposeless. That's helping nobody. That's not even helping you, right? If your goal is just to have the dream house and the dream car and show off on Instagram and TikTok and make people think, oh, this person drives a Lambo, or they have a Ferrari, or they fly private, right? If that's your goal, again, purposeless. That helps nobody. That brings value to nobody. Do you know what's valuable? You being an example in the world of somebody who's doing well in life and winning, and reminding people that the dream, the American dream, is real. That's valuable. Do you know what else is valuable? Your kids being intelligent, able beings. Your spouse being someone that's encouraged because they live with you and being given more and more opportunity to experience the life they want to live because of what you're doing. Do you know what's valuable? You helping your church, you helping your community, you donating to charities that matter. You being a solution for causes that appear solutionless. That's valuable. And you can't help with any of those things if you don't build wealth. You can't. You can't write the check. You can't volunteer the hours because you're too busy at work. Like, show me somebody who is broke, paycheck to paycheck, stressed out, not doing well in life because of all that, and I'll show somebody that doesn't contribute much to society. And I know that that's a really hard thing to hear, but it's the truth. It's the truth of the matter. And if we want to change that reality, we have to stop feeling sorry for ourselves. We need to go back to the wishes, the dreams, the goals we had when we were kids. Do you remember when you were a kid, the wishes you had? Things that probably seemed crazy to adults. You didn't care, right? Like the greatest people on this planet were those that they were crazy until it happened. And you need to be crazy until it happens about your wealth. You need to be crazy until it happens about your financial independence. Right? And if you're watching this right now, and I'm going to wrap up on this note, guys, again, I'm 32 years old from Alaska, right? Houston, Alaska, 60 kids in my graduating class, C average student, mom and dad got divorced, didn't go to college, didn't have a bunch of, hand up, Head Start, inheritance, nothing like that, right? I grew up broke. I started my adult life broke. I knew nothing about money, right? I didn't even have the iPhone until I was like 20. Right? Because I lived in Alaska and I was so broke I couldn't afford it. I had a flip phone for the longest time. So if I can go from that to the age of 32 being financially independent, me, where I don't have to trade time for money anymore, and I actually have control and independence over my schedule, what I like to do, how I'm going to help people, all this kind of stuff. Now I focus on helping other people become wealthy through my business and through my investments. If I can accomplish that by age 32 with my stats, there's zero reason I should be able to accomplish any of that. You sure as hell can. Right? If you had better grades than C's in school, you have an advantage over me. If your mom and dad didn't get divorced, you have an advantage over me. If you went to college, you have an advantage over me. If you weren't homeless twice before you were 20 years old, you have an advantage over me. Right? If you had money starting out, if you inherited something from parents, grandparents, whoever, you have an advantage over me. What are you doing with your advantage? And it's not even the advantage you have over me. I want to tie this to what I said at the very beginning before I wrap up here. It's the advantage that you have over literally the rest of the world right now. If you live in the United States of America, you have a serious advantage. Like serious. And I don't care what president says you don't, they're wrong. You go look at the net worths of those guys. Every single one of them is a top 1%er, including your boy Joe Biden. Donald Trump is one of them. George Bush was one of them. Every single one of those Congress presidents, it doesn't matter. They're 1%ers. You look at their net worths, they're 100 millionaire, like and above. So they're not on your side. They don't understand your life. They don't have reality on that stuff. So when they're telling you, oh, the American dream is dead, and then they have a $400 million net worth, they're talking out of both sides of their mouths, right? You're talented, you're able, you can learn, you can apply yourself. You have something unique and special inside of you. You can make it happen. I believe in you, okay? So guys, without further ado, thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please like the video, comment below, subscribe, follow. Thank you guys. That's been Finance Friday. I'll see you again next week. I want to thank you for watching my video. If you learned something from this, if it was value to you, what I'd like to do is I'd actually like to give you a free copy of my book, Blueprints Financial Freedom. This is perfect for those that are on my channel learning this stuff and you want to take it to the next level. So if you go to the link jerryfetta.com, just my first and last name, jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, or click the link in the description, grab a free copy, we'll send it out to you. Can't wait to get you a copy in your hands.